Um, we're going to wrap up this part for a moment. Thank you so much. We'll give you a quick round of applause. Yay. It's very odd for us to be here in a studio with no feedback from the audience, but I hope you folks watching are appreciating this. Quick partner plug to the Yes and the No. So that's the Young Entrepreneurs and Startups and the Noordelijke Online Ondernemers. I guess that's the Northern Online Entrepreneurs. That's two clubs here in the north that create community, share a lot of knowledge, every now and again get together for a drink and stuff. But if you're a young entrepreneur or startup here in the north, maybe you want to check out the Yes. And if you're a slightly more established company like these folks with an online focus, then check out the No. They're all really good people. We're going to now transition into part 3, and this is exciting because normally we don't have a part 3 on Founder Talks. But obviously we live in some very interesting times right now. And I've actually got a question coming in that touches on this. Corona, I mean, none of us, well, I didn't expect this 3 months ago, 6 months ago, definitely not. I'm guessing it wasn't in your plans. What happens if there's a pandemic? And for me, Corona and artificial intelligence, you know, we've seen stuff on the news, supply chains are getting interrupted. I know a bit about supply chain, there's a lot of smart intelligence going on in there. And when you shut the country and the planet down overnight, AI systems don't cope very well with that. It's not what they're trained for. Actually, fun fact, the technology we're using tonight, Event Insights, also struggled from the Corona problem because they were focused very much on real live events, which obviously got stopped and very quickly pivoted into a software solution that you folks are using now. So if you're liking it, don't forget to send them some sort of tweet and give them a thumbs up. But I'm curious, as two folks running businesses in a very weird time, how has Corona affected you? Yeah. We'll start over here.
Yeah. So in the old days, you could say that you had a good stable company when you're doing business in a lot of companies, or in a lot of countries. So we're doing business in 52 countries, and 80% of our turnover is coming from abroad. And well, that gave some advantages because there were countries saying, "Hey, there might come a lockdown, so I order a few systems now so I'm sure I've got them." Yeah, there's a quick jump, yeah, and a small jump. But those stories are also there. But in general, this means there is just a pause in our business.
So you've got a sales funnel problem where all the things you had planned.
I don't know if I have a problem, but at least there's a pause, and luckily we are a healthy company, so we can manage that, and the government is also helping, of course, a bit, and you can argue about it, but at least
it's not zero.
Yeah, so that's okay, but we are now we need, in the end, new customers and doing cold acquisition. That was always going through beurzen.
Fairs.
Fairs, trade fairs in China, trade fairs in the US, trade fairs in Italy, trade fairs in Spain.
Nope.
So that's fairly that's a challenge we have.
And what about internally? We were talking a little bit in preparation here. You know, we heard from Ioannis here. Wow, my team's all over the world, and it's easy to manage them, and they're all smart people and great. But you have two sides, right? You've got software folks, but you've also got a factory or a place where you have to physically be.
Yeah. So in the end, we're also a technology company, and I think just like Ioannis, we manage really well to do it online. But about 10% of my people, between 5 and 10 people, they always work from the office, also during the lockdown, because we're dealing with hardware, electronics, even laser lights, and it must be in a safe environment. Well, and we have all that at our
garage.
No, that's impossible. So we're now at a level that's impossible. So there are a lot of restrictions in using that kind of stuff. So 5 to 10 people, they are always working at the office. And now we even have a working council. We are in talk with them how to go to a hybrid model because there are a lot of advantages in homework and working from home. And we think in this situation, at least we want to go to till December this year in a more or less hybrid model that 50% of the time in the office and 50% of your time work from home.
Yeah.
And we have all kind of challenges. Some people, they're dependent on their private situation. I think it's a no-brainer. So sometimes you're really comfortable working at home, but we also now have people who want to go to the office to take some focus time to work at the office.
To get away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not away from home, but sometimes you need some focus and yeah. So everything is happening. Yeah.
And how does that make you feel at the moment? Is it because I hear both the positives and the negatives, but obviously you're responsible for the company.
Yeah, so I always wanted to do online marketing, and maybe this was the push to go over to take this burden and to go into another type of marketing strategy in order to get a new customers in. I mean, we are in business. Online marketing is of course very hip, also very hip and happening, but most of the times for consumer-based products, and we are in a niche. Business to business, capital is very specific. Well, now we have the flow that we are.
I can imagine there are not many people going to Google and looking for your kind of products.
No, I thought so, but they are. And first of all, I thought always on Google. So we had everything on Google and Vimeo, and that was all kind of arranged. But we also have an office in China. With Chinese people on our payroll, but when you're in China, you're not searching on Google.
Or in English or Dutch or.
And I knew, but I never. And so we had our website all filled up with videos, but those videos couldn't be played in China. So we all had to do it again. So,
maybe there was a slight blessing in disguise there.
Yeah.
And Ioannis, how about you? How is Corona impacting you guys?
Well, I mean, it's really hard, I think, for everyone in that, you're used to a certain situation, to a certain way of working, and overnight, you're waking up to a new world. I mean, if you're a restaurant, you get hit by the impact straight away, right? The wave hits you head on.
Yeah, although I have to say, I don't know what it's like in Friesland, but I've seen a lot of restaurants here being able to, if we use the cool startup terminology, pivot really quickly from with just a restaurant to now we're going to go online and even just going beyond that and doing.
Let's say cinema then, because then it's not fixable. But so when you're a software company, I mean, you don't feel the impact straight away anyway, because the sales will not disappear overnight. It may take some time. I do recognize what Gerrit is saying, that you're knocking on doors and everyone is at home basically, so they're like, I cannot make decisions from home. But in our case, as I said before, we were adjusted to working remotely, so at least that part was very smooth. Just because of luck, we happen to have some really stable work, with big international companies. So that didn't really change, our finances. But I do feel for all the companies and all the different people who, have to work from home, with children around, and, it must be really hard. And everybody, is really professional. Everybody wants to perform well, but, when you have a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, next to you, of course, it's naturally very hard to do that.
Yeah, I have to say I've never felt so blessed to not have kids as the last couple of months. On the other hand, I see, in some of the calls that I have to take, the video calls, people are a little bit more relaxed about, for example, everyone's working from home, so all of a sudden you're in a video call and you can see somebody's, maybe it's the attic room, maybe they're at the dining room table, maybe they're in their kitchen. Right? It's like all of a sudden you're getting a much more, I think, intimate connection with people.
Very interesting. Yeah.
That's the part I hate.
Oh.
Honestly, because in the old days there was traveling time, right? So you had breaks in between, and these days you can actually go 8 hours per day non-stop in a teleconference, 8 teleconferences, if not more. And I do find myself actually having a teleconference the whole time, or at least at the beginning of the crisis. Now I'm trying to control it. Because it was very easy to just press a button and you are in a meeting. Where before you had to walk to the office, you had to dress up and you had to drive. And,
yeah, I mean, it's funny. Nobody watching from home realizes that we're all wearing shorts right now. I'm kidding, but
I'm not wearing.
we could be. You're not wearing anything, great. But I mean, obviously, we're not Corona experts. There's no playbook for this. Do you have a kind of a positive, hopeful aspect on this, or are you kind of like, let's just get back to normal?
I don't think we'll get back to normal. I think normal will be something new from now on. And I think, they do say every crisis is an opportunity. So for sure, many people realize that the way they were doing things before was actually out of habit. It was not out of necessity. So actually, I don't think myself I will be driving to all those meetings again like I did before. I used to spend sometimes, 20 hours a week driving to go to all the different places. And of course, for many things, this is still required, especially if you're having hardware and you have to do installations, etc. But I do think from now on, a lot of the other meetings will turn into virtual meetings, and that's probably a good thing. It's much more productive. But it's a new situation, so let's wait and see. It can have quite a positive impact, but for now you can also see it will have a negative impact, especially on the economy.
I think we're already feeling that. Well, I mean, the economic crisis is still to come. Let's not be praying for that. It will bring big change, but it'll be very painful. You had a slightly different perspective on productivity, talking earlier from in the first few days, people working from home, productivity went sort of boom through the roof.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of like, maybe we want to get back to the office.
No. Well, a company is more than 60 individuals connecting through Teams, MS Teams, and of course it's working great because we were a team. So it's very possible that you can work from home because beyond Skype, there's a lot of better things to work with, and for them it was an opportunity. So I'm looking for the glue. What's the glue that makes you a team? And that's continuously discussing. And so everyone at most part is happy at working from home. But I feel the urge that to start a discussion that can we make a hybrid model, and because working from home it's very you don't have this travel time, so you're really more efficient during the week. And I think I had some in the past year some appointments which might be more productive when I do them through Teams, but sure not all. But it comes to the point that the reason why I started a company, I wanted to make a company with people I really know, and to actually get to really know people. I think you have to be in the same room at least now and then.
Is there things you're doing as a company to try and find that little? I guess it's like the personal touch, the small things, the stuff that just doesn't happen naturally when it's a video call. Are you doing some stuff there?
Our CEO had a great idea. So from day one we have coffee and tea breaks. It's every day at 10 and 3:30, and we have an intranet, of course. And then the first 30 days and in the morning and a coffee break and tea break, you have to one colleague has to publish his home environment where he's working from.
So some sort of photo or...
Yeah, whatever. But now, and we thought, 30 working days, that's 6 weeks, then... But now we had to make a new idea. So that at this moment, it's our CEO's Spotify playlist. And it gives you also some nice insights. So
that's a kind of like crowdsourced playlist from all of your...
Yeah, the CEO's playlist, yeah.
That must be very confusing to listen to.
Yeah, because Spotify has some AI technology behind it, so they can predict what would be the next one. So that's sometimes a little scary.
But then you have 60 different music fitting into that, and somebody who uses their Spotify for their kids, of course.
Yeah,
I can imagine. Ioannis, are you folks doing anything different or new to try and find this glue, as Gerrit called it?
Yeah, I mean, we also have the virtual coffee breaks every day at 2. And yeah, every day something else is happening. Actually, I jumped into the meeting today. I was a bit late. So people were talking about their work. So I'm like, I'm going to leave the coffee break if you don't stop talking about work now. So, so it's switched to talking about favorite drinks and, having a laugh with our colleagues because, yeah, with having 10 nationalities in your team, yeah, you get some really fancy drinks, which is not just coffee or tea.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, we have a colleague from.
You don't have to name them, it's okay.
Well, yeah, we have a colleague who, yeah, drinks really strong tea and sugar. We make fun of him that he drinks sugar and tea, not tea and sugar. And yeah, it's actually he's a great engineer. He's one of the best front-end developers I've ever seen, and now I know why. I was wondering, all this
Fueled on sugar and caffeine. Which is, not unusual in the startup world, but or the tech world, but usually it's called Red Bull, or I guess we should send an invoice to Red Bull for that plug. I think we're approaching time here, so I'd like to end with a question to both of you. I have no idea who the audience is, but it's going to be entrepreneurs, startups, people thinking about starting their own businesses. You've already said, if it comes to AI, just don't. You've already said you've got to be crazy to start a business, but if you look back through your past and your history, what was maybe the one thing that you didn't expect that really made a difference that you can now pass on as a tip?
Yeah, it's hard to say anything that people have never said before. I mean,
It's okay.
it's
your experience. So
I think it all boils down to really loving what you do and actually sharing your vision with your team. So the team can also embrace your ambitions and what you're trying to develop, especially if you are a product company. I think that's quite essential. And I think in my case, that's basically it. You have to love what you're doing, and you have to be, a team player, and be willing to bring a lot of different people together. And sometimes people with very different backgrounds and with very different personalities, and sometimes people with a lot of knowledge,
So what I'm hearing is have a vision, share the vision, let people collect around that. And then the diversity aspect really makes things magic. Gerrit, from your perspective?
Yeah, you really have to believe in what you are doing, and of course you have to listen to others, because they are also smart people and they can advise you. But in the end, it's your own company, so you have to listen carefully and pick what you are going to listen to. But you have to stick to your own choices. Because I learned, when I look back, then if I listen to all the tips I've got, then I think I didn't have my company.
So being able to
because they advised me, don't go into the pill pouches because there are competitors and it's almost finished or whatever. And if I were you, I would put my money in here and all kind of, and it makes you sometimes a little uncomfortable or unshaky or uncertain.
Of course, that's a really easy one, right? If I was you, I wouldn't put my money in that, but you're not me, and it's not your money. So
I would really urge you that listen carefully and make your own decisions.
And I guess that stems off having that vision.
Of course, you've made it perfectly. In a few words. Yeah.
Great. We're going to wrap it up here because we're out of time. Gentlemen, I found this fascinating. I wish we could go for hours and hours, but that's unfortunately not possible at the moment, and you've got families and work to get back to. For the folks watching over the live stream from home or office or maybe in the park, wherever you are, this is the end of the interview section, but it's not the end of the event. I said to you that Event Insight has built some interesting technology. It's still in construction. What you're seeing now is only a small part of it. They've got a whole lot more, so if you host events, do go check them out. But one of the most important things for us about Founder Talks is bringing people together, also from the audience. You've got enough things to chat about now, and so this is the moment where we would normally go to the bar, grab some alcoholic or non-alcoholic refreshment, and you guys would start talking. if this was a flat web stream or a Zoom call or whichever service you prefer, that would be almost impossible. But if you go back into your laptop when I'm done, click on Program, you'll see a network carousel. Sounds very grand, but basically it's, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, it's speed dating online with other members of the audience, but it's done in a kind of chic and playful way. So when you click on that button, you're going to get thrown into a side room with a few other people for a maximum of 130 seconds. So even if it's the worst conversation in the world, it's not going to take too long, but who knows, you might bump into somebody interesting. The other participants are also able to find both of you gentlemen in the program, and so if you have a question directly for either of these folks, you can send it there and they will receive it in their inbox. Got a couple of thank yous to say. Veilig in Groningen, Steukvries Ondernemerschap, Kasteel.Gro for hosting us, of course. The yes, the no, the team from Event Insight for making this happen. RTV Noord for the media coverage. Obviously, my two guests here, gentlemen, thank you so much for spending your time with us. And most importantly, all of you for watching, thank you so much and have a great evening.